Yeah, 49 verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished?
The federal government shutdown has entered its 36th day, becoming the longest shutdown in U.S. history. On Tuesday, the Senate rejected a House-passed funding bill for the 14th time as Democrats demand an extension to health insurance premium tax credits under the Affordable Care Act. A recent report by the Kaiser Family Foundation found allowing the subsidies to expire would more than double the average enrollees' out-of-pocket premium payments, with some people seeing even larger increases of over 500%. Average enrollees' out-of-pocket premium payments, with some people seeing even larger increases of over 500%. A recent report by the Kaiser Family Foundation found allowing the subsidies to expire would more than double the average enrollees' out-of-pocket premium payments, with some people seeing even larger increases of over 500%. On Tuesday, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned the U.S. could be forced to close vast swaths of U.S. airspace due to severe shortages of air traffic controllers, about 11,000 of whom have gone without pay throughout the shutdown. Duffy cautioned of mass chaos at airports if the shutdown continues for another week. Mere hours after Duffy's comments, a UPS freight plane crashed at a Louisville, Kentucky airport, killing at least 7 people, leaving 11 others injured. Meanwhile, President's freight plane crashed at a Louisville, Kentucky airport, killing at least 7 people. Mere hours after Duffy's comments, a UPS freight plane crashed at a Louisville, Kentucky airport. Down continues for another week. Mere hours after Duffy's comments, a UPS freight plane crashed at a Louisville, Kentucky airport, killing at least 7 people, leaving 11 others injured.
Alright, Shalom, Sensiv Yasharola, Kal Haimla, Allahayanawa, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakaha Kodash. My name is Gabaga of the Hopeful Election from the Company of Prophets here in Toronto, and I'm here to tell you the truth. And today is Friday, November the 7th, another day closer to the deliverance of the elect of Israel and the destruction of Babylon the Great, aka America. I want to say this fair use. This fair use is only for educational purposes. I'm not making any money out of this content. Alright? And so yeah, going into it, I want to say, I let the elders, the rule, kind of worthy of double honors, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine, which are the Presbyterian of Great Millstone, beginning with the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders on down. I also want to say peace, salutation to all the Akim and Yahweh Zimbabwe's to continue to push his truth in honesty and sincerity, and in the favor names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, whom the world only calls God. Yahweh means He is, He to be, He exists. And Yahweh Shai is the true name of His only begotten Son, whom the world only calls JC. Yahushua means He deliverer or His Savior, and Rakadash is the Spirit Holy. Okay, this is the names that He's supposed to call upon, especially you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and only among the heathen. When you look at the heathen, but see land goes back to the patriarchy of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob on your father's side. So going into it, we'll go ahead and bring this back. The book of Jeremiah 49 verse 7. Concerning Edom, and who's Edom? Edom is a biblical nationality of the so-called white man. Okay, the word Edom goes back to the Hebrew word Adawam, which means red, and that's really what the so-called white man is. His biblical nationality, is basically described according to his color. Because the so-called white man is not white. When you look at him, he's actually a red man, right? Let me go back here and actually get that. For example, right, see this woman right here. This would be a so-called white woman, Caucasian woman. But really, when you see her skin color, okay, when you see her face, she's not white. Okay, her complexion resembles more her blazer that she's wearing right here. This blazer that she's wearing is red, so this really resembles a complexion more than than it does white. Okay, so that's a so-called white man and woman. Okay, says concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? And Teman is the so-called Germans, but really this is towards the whole nation of Edom, specifically over here in Babylon the Great, okay, America. Okay, so it says wisdom. There's no wisdom in Teman, right? It says, is no more wisdom in Teman? Like, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perish from the prudent? Right? And why is that? This is actually because, as you can see, they're still suffering the government shutdown, and this is the longest that's ever been in, and they still can't find a solution. They still can find an answer to basically bring it to an end and actually solve the issue. Okay, so therefore, as you can see, the Most High is exposing them, and they're being found. It's clear to see that this man is not worthy to rule. Okay, ultimately, this shouldn't be. There shouldn't be a government shutdown. There shouldn't be, people like not getting paid. Okay, there shouldn't be, planes falling out of the sky, blowing up in fireballs, right? And ultimately, as you can see, that's ultimately what this guy Mamdani won. Okay, because ultimately, people are tired of the so-called white man. Okay, this man is actually an Ishmaelite. Is a Muslim, and it's something that's so rare to happen in America, especially in New York. Okay, this is the first time it's ever happened, and this man actually had the highest turnout for voters come to vote for him. This is actually a telltale sign to show that to show that people are tired of, the irregular, Edomites. Even like so-called black men, because before him was a so-called before him was a so-called black man mayor, right? And he got ousted out, and now these Ishmaelites coming in. Ultimately, this is to show you that the so-called white man, your people are seeing you. People are saying that you're not fit to rule, right? And you have this too. This woman got groped. The president of the so-called president of Mexico. Okay, she got groped in public, right? To show you another thing too, like basically, like even you women are not supposed to be in leadership. You're not supposed to be in positions of power, right? You're really supposed to be in the house, guarding taking care of the house, and being submissive unto your husband, right? So another thing too about Esau Edom, through his great wisdom, he put women in position of power. Now these women are suffering for it, man. So to me, that's why this man Esau Edom is not supposed to be in power. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to be a slave, really, right? So scripture itself says, "Is the wisdom vanished?" Right. Ultimately, that's what's happening. Let's get another scripture. Let's go to the book of Obadiah, 1 verse 8. The book of Obadiah, chapter 1 verse 8 to 9, and it reads, "Shall I not in that day, said the Lord Yahweh Shai, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?" You see, that's what's happening. The Most High is ultimately, taking away, their their wisdom that they had, which really is not wisdom. It's just, it talks in scriptures that the knowledge of wood, it's like the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Let's go ahead and get that. That's ultimately what this man's. That's what ultimately what this man's about. Quite beautiful. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus out of the Apocrypha, 19 verse 22, and it reads, "The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom." That's ultimately what the so-called white man brings out. He brings out the knowledge of wickedness. Okay, it brings out, nothing but iniquity. That's ultimately why his society is crumbling, right? It says the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. Okay, and ultimately Esau is man of sin. Okay, so therefore, he has no he should be in power. He should not be ruling, right? But let me go and get this. I want to play this out.
Is now emerging of that horrific explosive crash at UPS cargo jet seconds after takeoff from Louisville, Kentucky. At least 12 people killed, including all three on board, 9 people on the ground, including a child. Take a look.
So all this would have been avoided if the government shutdown had, if there wasn't a government shutdown. Okay, all this could have been avoided. Okay, if there wasn't this man Esau Edom was not was not basically scrambling, to maintain power, whether it be the so-called Democrats, because they both keep blaming each other. It's like basically like little kids blaming each other. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's her fault. So basically, they're blaming the right is blaming the left. The Democrats is blaming the Republicans. The Republicans are blaming the Democrats, and basically they're acting like a bunch of kids, man. Okay, go back and get this. So yeah, that's the Ecclesiastes 19 verse 22, right? It said, the knowledge of wisdom, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, right? So back in Obadiah 1 verse 9, and it reads, and the mighty men of and thy mighty men, O Teman, Teman once again is talking about Germany. Ultimately, that's where most of Esau's technology came from. Okay, his wisdom came from the Germans. That's why ultimately they have, they came up, they had the best cars, and really and truly, that's what World War II was about. Because these other Edomites wanted to bring about. They saw Germany prospering, okay, under Hitler, and they want to bring about an end to that, right? So the team in the Germany is basically like the powerhouse, or the that's where Edom gets its wisdom, right? Or his knowledge, anyways. It says, and the mighty men or team men shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. This is going to go down. Let's go and get this. By fire.
Good evening. We do begin tonight with the new images now emerging of that horrific explosive crash. A UPS cargo jet seconds after takeoff from Louisville, Kentucky. At least 12 people killed, including all 3 on board, 9 people on the ground, including a child. Take a look tonight. Harrowing video showing the plane speeding down the runway on its way from Louisville to Honolulu. Authorities now describing the fiery images as apocalyptic. Smoke and flames coming from under the... Authorities now describing the fiery images as apocalyptic. Smoke and flames coming from... Authorities now describing the fiery images as apocalyptic.
Yes, that's it. Apocalyptic, man. This is how America is gonna go out. Tells you the scriptures talks about the heavens shall be rolled as a mushroom. It's like, yeah, the heavens shall be rolled as a scroll. Let's go and get that, right? Yeah, kind of the book of Isaiah 34 verse 4, and it reads, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's talking about once that the nuclear bomb gets detonated in America. Okay, the ICBM missiles get detonated in America. They're going to basically form a mushroom cloud. Okay, and that's how America's going to go out by fire, by destruction, by fire and brimstone, right? So then the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down. Like their jets, okay, their the air force. As you can see that plane, it fell from the sky, a huge fireball, right? And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth as leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the tree, right? Another one, Revelation 6 verse 14, and it reads, and the heaven departed as a scroll. It's again, that's gonna be that big fireball or the mushroom cloud that's gonna be, it's gonna come, it's gonna be formed from the nuclear detonation in America. Like once all these countries that have nuclear capabilities like Russia, Iran, okay, North Korea, all these countries that have nuclear capabilities, India, they're gonna shoot their missiles upon America and destroy it. It's gonna go out in fire. On the heaven departed as a scroll. Heaven talking about, the both, like the sky, and really, but it's really talking about it's a rulership. It says, and heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Right? Go and get this.
Its way from Louisville to Honolulu. Authorities now describing the fiery images as apocalyptic. Smoke and
Must say apocalyptic.
flames coming from under the left wing, that engine then falling off the jet right as it was taking off. Moments later, the plane loaded with jet fuel crashing into a massive fireball,
Yes.
into a petroleum recycling plant in an auto parts warehouse,
Mm.
with smoke and flames visible for miles. Tonight, fire crews still on the scene and NTSB team now on the ground, and ABC's Alex Perez leading us off from Louisville.
Tonight in Louisville, a search for answers after the left engine of this UPS cargo jet carrying nearly 250,000 pounds of fuel broke away as the plane was taking off, killing all 3 on board and at least 9 on the ground, including a child. Oh my God! NTSB investigators say they found the plane's black boxes and they're poring over videos showing UPS Flight 2976 bound for Honolulu barreling down the runway with its left engine on fire Tuesday. And we have viewed airport CCTV security coverage, which shows the left engine detaching from the wing during the takeoff roll.
As the aircraft begins to rotate and tries to gain altitude, we see sparks coming out of the center engine, which suggests that some of the debris may have damaged the second engine.
This truck driver's dashboard camera a half-mile south of that runway capturing the moment the massive plane hit the ground, skidding.
But it's beautiful to watch, man. That's something. This is us in the passenger seat. We're watching this man's society crumble. We're watching this man's society falter, man. Okay. In the book of Ecclesiasticus 36. In the book of Ecclesiasticus 36, verse 6, and it reads, "Shew new signs and make other strange wonders." That's something that's strange wonder. This is something that that's not normal in America to see. To see like a whole fire, like a whole plane crushing and a big fireball coming out. This is a major sign, man. Says, "Show new signs or show new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm that they may set forth the wondrous works." So this is actually a prayer of the saints unto the Holy Father to bring destruction upon our enemies. Right? It says, "Rise up indignation." Indignation, that's that righteous anger. Right? Rise up indignation and pour out wrath. Take away the adversary and destroy the enemy. Okay, so that's beautiful, man. That's literally what's happening. The Most is exposing these people, that they are bunch of, the bunch of, like, Esau is a fool, okay, a vagabond, okay, and he's not supposed to be in power, and his society is crumbling, right?
On its left side. Crash and explosion hitting a petroleum recycling plant and an auto parts warehouse.
Did everybody make it out? No. What do you mean, no? No! We've seen blast injuries from the explosion. It's... No. What do you mean, no? No!
It's beautiful to watch, man. You see, even one of my favorite scriptures in Ecclesiastes 5 verse 7 goes into like basically us watching the fall of our enemy. Okay, happy man, basically like seeing having the joy of the children and watching the fall of his enemy. That's what we watch. That's what we're witnessing, man. That's why we pray the most continue to increase and intensify the heat and bring more destruction upon our enemies. You see, kamada Mungu wenu de onse barata yao shai sukuma sharwala wa babal shalom akim.
Massive